Beer of the day, Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Tart Cherry Wheat. Let me tell you, it is tart. It's intense. Ooh. I would have said that was a sour if I hadn't known any better. That's something else. David says, I want progress, the shotgun. I think, so I guess you mean progress on the shotgun, which you see sitting here behind me. And you will get progress on the shotgun today, I promise. But that's lower down the run list, so you're going to have to hang out for a little bit. Got lots of fun stuff to get through. So first of all, some events coming up. Let's see. Battle at Six Flags. We're going to be at that one. I'm going to be playing that one. That should be fun. If you want to see me, you can try stopping by the tent. I might be there, but I'm going to be trying to play that one, not just run the booth. And then TCA Crossbones is coming up. We'll be at that one. We're headed up to Amped Bolt Bash. I went to that one last year. I don't think I'm doing that one this year, but really, really good event. Be sure to go out there and give them some love. And then we have some others on the schedule, but we're not sure yet. So what, any events you think we should go to, go ahead and throw them up there. What events are we missing on the schedule? Let's see. Is there any update on the Gen-12 shotgun? Yes, there is. We will have an update here in a little bit. One says reset the dwell on Instagram. 65% of the time it works every time. Grace says hello from the desert. Yeah, we'll be seeing them next week. So lots of new stuff. We announced, I don't know, 3 new products, depending on how you do the math this week. So let's go over a few. Let's take a look at a few things. Got some fun stuff to show y'all. First thing, battery grip. All right, so show of hands, how many people saw the battery grip? That video got tons of engagement, people loving it, people not understanding it, people hating it, some of everything, but it got tons of engagement. So here it is. This is actually, I think, a production piece. So some things people are unclear on. Why do we go with CR123s? Well, honestly, for the same reason that they're popular for a lot of different things, especially things like flashlights, where you need high reliability and easy to find power supply, right? I mean, they have a ton of capacity for their size. They have super long shelf life. You can buy them anywhere, so you never get stuck without power. And there are rechargeable options if you want to run rechargeable. So CR123s really were the best option there. And one of the things we haven't actually shown yet, but these are actually this is actually highly water resistant as a power supply. We've actually at some point we'll probably show the video publicly, but we've actually fully submerged the battery grip here, and it still runs the board correctly. So there's a high degree of water resistance engineered into the product as well. So yeah, lots of things going on with it, but it is, in my opinion, this is probably other than maybe the shotgun, this is the biggest thing we'll do this year, just in terms of how much it improves the overall playing experience. It's super, super nice. Once you start using one, you'll want them. Just makes it really, really easy to turn on and off. Going into programming mode is super convenient and easy. You just, hold the trigger down and flip the battery switch, and you're in programming mode. Same way to, get out of programming mode. So super good on that front. different questions in terms of obviously this does not support running the airline through the grip anymore. That makes it work really well with a number of our other products. You can run it with a Wraith. You can run it with the new FRAC, fixed rear airline connector, or you can run it with just run the airline out the back, right? If you, let's just say, well, those have FRACs on them. But just for instance, on another new product we'll talk about here in a bit, if you have the Picatinny adapter, you can actually run your airline out underneath the stock here. Same way with a standard sling plate. You can drill a hole in the sling plate or get one that already has a hole. A lot of the QD sling plates already have a hole there, and you can just run your airline out there and reroute it underneath the stock. So lots of options for rerouting the airline. Battery compatibility. Have some questions on this as well. Battery compatibility. Words are hard sometimes, guys. Sorry. It works with standard, 1, 2, 3 batteries. Rechargeable ones. There are lots of rechargeable 1, 2, 3 batteries. Two I can tell you, one doesn't fit, and one that we have tested, and it does seem to work. That we haven't tested every brand, but the 18350s are an 18 millimeter diameter battery. It's a similar size, but it is too thick. It does not fit. The 16340s do fit, and we have tested those and had those work. But there is going to be some variation brand to brand in terms of geometry and such. But in general, I can tell you the 18350s definitely won't work. And as far as we've tested, we've been able to get the 16340s to work just fine. Your final voltage from the boost circuit is a little higher, but not enough to be a problem. I think it comes out more like 8 volts instead of 7.6 or something like that. What is the grip angle? 15 degrees, if I remember correctly, on the grip angle. Did I miss anything else? So anyway, what are your thoughts on this? I know it's a little hard to see the value until you start messing with it, but I promise you this is something that, unless there's some specific reason not to, will go on any gun that I run. Hands down. It's very, very nice to use. I'm really happy with how the ergonomics came out on the grip as well. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts. Any questions? Anything I didn't cover? Throw those comments and questions up there, and I'll get to them momentarily. Grip angle. David says, as a tank stock enthusiast, I do like the grip battery, especially since I forget to unplug my LiPos. Yeah, and that's one of the biggest things is just, you don't have to you don't have to open the gun up to plug and unplug. You just slide the switch, and there you go. Your battery is now being saved, and you don't have to worry about it discharging. And again, just the peace of mind knowing that, hey, if I have to, now I should mention. CR123s, if you're going to use them, go on Amazon or somewhere and get them in bulk. They're actually pretty freaking cheap. You can pick them up for like a little over $1 a piece on Amazon. They're quite a bit more expensive if you go and just buy them at a drugstore or something like that. But you can get them. You don't end up not having batteries. You don't end up not having batteries for your game. Do you think it will come standard stock on new MTWs in the future? Well, what do you guys think? Is this something we should include as standard on a trim option for an MTW going forward? Yes, there are AA and AAA sizes, the battery, the capacity is much, much lower. The voltage is much lower. And even with a boost circuit, in terms of reliably operating the electronics, it is not ideal to be boosting from, so a CR123 is 3 volts. A AAA is nominally 1.5. To be boosting from 3 volts all the way up to 7.5, 8 volts is not optimal, and also the battery capacity is much lower. Again, same reason that most high-end flashlights don't run on double and AAAs, because it's an inferior battery. Let's see. Sorry. Is there a space for short out the battery? On my MTW, I keep a regulator adjustment tool in the grip. Depending on what you're doing, you definitely can. Again, the boost circuit is conformally coded, so there's not a substantial risk of shorting something out. If you're not running a premium board and need the space in here for the FCU, because this does fit a premium FCU in there. There's room. That's why one of the main reasons we have the access doors, so that you can access your FCU if you want to. You can do some cute little things. Attach your Allen key to the back side of the door or something like that, to stash it in there. We have played with that. All right, let's see. What else? What did I forget? So, like I said, I'm super, super excited about this. It makes playing with it super convenient. All right, so next thing. Who has gotten a chance to play with the FRAC? Oh, anyone on here gotten a chance to play with one of these yet? These came on all of the 308s. There we go. FRAC, or fixed rear airline connector. These, we just launched the aftermarket version of this. Let me go ahead and turn this off real quick. Just launched the aftermarket version. So if you have an existing MTW and you want to put FRAC on it, you can. It makes it so you have sort of one-handed connection capability with your airline. Just makes it easier to connect to the airline like that. Also makes it super clean, like on the when you got the guns hanging on the wall, like we do back here, right? You just get a super clean profile on the gun. So the FRAC, for basically the kit we're selling is for the M4 version. The airline length is different between the 308 and the M4. But since all the 308s are coming with it already installed, the one we're selling aftermarket comes with the M4 length airline. So you can see right there, again, just gives you a super clean profile. Makes a really nice airline routing. You can from there either go up over your shoulder or right underneath your arm, either way with your airline. Really nice and clean. We'll note that if you didn't, sorry, checking my notes here. If you didn't see it in the video, when you install it on an M4, the airline fits the best if you rotate the engine 180 degrees upside down, just spin it in the upper and install it that way. It just gives the airline more room to sort of make the S-shaped curve that it needs to in there to get the airline out with less stress on the airline. So super happy with those, and the FRAC is available by itself. FRAC and battery grip are both available for purchase now, individually, or we are offering a kit where they come together, because again, you have to reroute the airline if you're doing the battery grip. So it makes a really nice overall upgrade kit. It's a good question. All of our lines are typically 36-inch, I believe, is our standard airline length. I should double check because it's been way too long since I looked at that, but I'm pretty sure it's 36-inch. It really depends on how big you are as a person. If you were border and where you carry your tanks and stuff like that. If you were borderline on airline length, you may want to go a little longer, but if you had if whatever you were running had a little bit of extra, it is a little bit. It again, depending on where you're routing it, it may or may not make the total airline length needed different, because if you're going over the shoulder, it's actually a little bit of shorter route coming over the shoulder to get here versus going down, down to your wrist down there. So it really just depends on your setup. I haven't noticed a huge difference personally, but it's going to depend on your individual setup. It's a good question though. One thing to note about the FRAC that we got here is, get my overhead here. This is the back portion that holds the, holds your fitting right like that. If you remove this is not a QD point. This is a completely different fitting type that works with the FRAC fitting. So it's not like the Picatinny on the 9mm that has a QD point there. This is a fitting specifically for this airline design. So just FYI. So I think we're up on Instagram now. So if you're just joining us on Instagram, thanks for jumping on. And go ahead and throw your questions or comments up there, and I'll do my best to get to them as we move along here. Just going over some new products right now, talking through some of the stuff we showed this week. Any questions on that? We got gone through battery grip and FRAC so far, the ones we've covered so far. Does it work on the very first MTW you ever launched? Now, I haven't installed it, but there's no reason it should not. There's no changes in those interfaces that should interfere with it working. But yeah, we have a new one. This is another little detail that I really am happy about. For those of you that are familiar with our products, this will look like a different trigger and trigger spring, because it is a different trigger and trigger spring. This is our new, we're just calling it the T5 trigger, because depending on how you want to count, we've done about 5 triggers. But this is a design we're going to be moving to on a bunch of different stuff eventually. But the idea was to make a very, very simple, robust trigger design that doesn't require attaching to the trigger pin with a screw that's just retained by the trigger spring, like the hammer spring currently is. So if you see how this is set up, your trigger here your hammer pin up at the front will sit right here, and these pins have grooves on them. So the spring will sit in the groove and retain the hammer pin, and we've added this arm right here that comes down and now also retains the trigger pin. So everything's just snaps into place and is held in place with the triggers. Overall, it makes the trigger feel really nice and smooth. It has a really, really nice feel to it. We went with the classic design this time, just a standard, sort of M4 style curved trigger. Feels really nice. Is backwards compatible, so works with older gen guns or MTWs, and yeah, really excited about this one. So just one little note. Again, we posted a video on this, but if you look, the spring sits on top of the trigger pin. The arms of the spring goes over top of the trigger pin and sits, this is the front of the gun because that's the way the trigger's curved. This is the front of the gun. So, and the trigger pin sits behind, or the spring sits behind the hammer pin, right, like that. That's how it sits. I've had some people at the tech class try to install it like that, and it doesn't work. It sits right like that. That's how it goes. Really, really nice. Again, small incremental updates as we continue to perfect things and constantly seek to improve things. What is the strangest gun I have ever seen a Wolverine HPA engine in? That is a hard question to answer because I have seen a whole bunch of different guns. I don't know. Somebody up at Extreme Airsoft up in Rhode Island just did some sort of a. I know I probably should know because but I'm not into this world. I don't remember. What video game was that from? Somebody can probably tell me. Somebody else probably saw it, but it was a wild build, just like totally custom built, recreation of a gun from a video game. It was pretty wild. Let's see. I don't have any plans for an MP7 kit at the moment, but we'll see. It's just not our priority right now. Not what we're focusing on. So talking about the T5 trigger, it makes it a nice little segue here. We just went live with our relaunch of the MTW9. So we teased these at IWA, and we are launching these now. So this has a number of different District 9. So it's a movie. I don't even know what it is. Sorry. Just not the world I live in. Anyway, these have a whole bunch of updates. So we took a bunch of feedback based on the previous versions of the MTW9 and got requests like, well, we want it to be, we wanted, to be able to run higher capacity mags. Well, now we have the new PTS mags for the Evo that do work. We got one of them right here. We worked with PTS to make sure that when they came out, that they worked in the MTW9. Also went through, and one of the big requests was, we wanted to not just look like a 7-inch MTW, right, with a slightly different mag. Like, we really wanted it to be something that's PDW. So it comes with, out of the box now, with Picatinny adapter at the back, and then this the Lilacs folding stock here. So out of the box, you get a super compact. It still has the 7-inch barrel, Warthog flash hider at the front. Went with the Mark I rail on the front, and it has all the Gen 3 billet upper updates. So that's CNC feed tube. You have your dust cover here with your access to your hop up underneath. The locking screw on the charging handle to keep it from moving. All the standard Gen 3 billet update stuff. But still with the MTW9 lower, uses the Evo mags, empty mag detection. Really, really like these. Yeah, really excited to get these back out here. I love the 9mm platform, and yeah, happy to get these back out for you guys because it's a pretty sweet little gun. Now it makes a really nice truck gun. Yeah, so good stuff there. But sorry, I got sidetracked with all the other new stuff. But it does include the T5 trigger. That was the segue that I didn't segue. So, sorry about that. The MTW9s are coming with the T5 trigger update as well. So really happy about those. If they haven't started shipping, they'll be starting shipping very soon because I know they're in assembly and we've just started taking orders from them. Let's see. Yeah, I like it pretty well in terms of that style stock. We looked at some others, but yeah, for the moment at least, that was our first choice on the stock. Generally, yes. With the new feed tube designed, the magazines sit a little tighter, which is something you guys have asked for. It's not necessarily my preference because I like things to be a little looser and be able to drop free and all that kind of stuff. But we've gotten, so we've tried to tighten up some of those things. But yes, with the new feed tube design, the mags do sit a bit more, a bit tighter in the receiver and have less movement, which a lot of you seem to really like. But it is a bit different than some of the earlier versions. So the T5 triggers will be coming out on other products soon. I think we're going to move the 308 over to them relatively soon, as well as some of the other billet product lines eventually. But it is sort of just going to be sort of a rolling update. If you want to get one and try it out, they will be available at some point. I don't know if they are at the moment, but they at some point will be available for sale. If you want to get one and mess it out, but really happy with those. Let's see. I already talked about that. So one more thing that we haven't even announced yet. I don't think we've shown this. So I got a question earlier. This is not a new color for Article 2. Right now, Article 2 is just black. But this is a new color of Article 1. And we have a limited quantity of these available. And we did offer these to dealers for order at the tech class a few weeks ago. So I think a very few of these have started shipping, but we'll be building more out here and shipping more soon, but they are a very limited quantity. So go check with your dealer if you want one, because I promise it's worth the wait. Check out this color. Is that not pretty? That is our blue Article 1. Very, very, the black and blue color combo. Let me switch over here again. Super, super pretty color there. So do have a limited number of these available. And like I said, we started accepting orders from dealers at the tech class, got some orders there. So if you want one, go check it out because they are limited availability. So really good stuff. All right. So now I guess you guys have any questions? It's a quiet group today. Don't have a whole lot of questions. But let's see. Everybody's been waiting. Well, let me ask one more question. One of the things we've been kicking around that we don't really know exactly how to do better is we want to try to so airsoft is a local sport fundamentally. There's lots of national and international games and stuff like that, but it really grows out of local gameplay. And so one of the things we want to do is to try to help support local fields and local dealers. And there's lots of things we try to do that already on that front. But curious if you guys had any ideas on things we could do, ways we could do more to help support sort of different local fields, especially because that's a big undertaking to run a field, and it takes a lot of work. And we want to support those guys because that's how the industry continues to grow and be healthy, and get new people into the sport as they go find somewhere local to play. So if you guys have any thoughts on that, feel free to share them. Oh, one other thing. If anybody I'm looking for ideas. I'm finally after more than 10 years of after more than 10 years of running this business, I'm trying to build out like a nice office for myself. So I have like a nice place to do design work and all the other things I have to do. You have like office design inspiration for me. Send me some pictures. I'm looking for ideas right now on for some inspiration on how to set that up and what it should look like. So, all right. So, question everybody's asking is, well, what about the shotgun? When do you have any updates? Okay, so we've had that question a lot, and we have been very silent on it, so I apologize. It's not accidental. But we are making good progress on it. But this is the first time we've said anything on this publicly. So, happy birthday, guys. You guys get to be the first to hear it. But we do have a current estimated timeline right now in terms of production schedule. I'll tell you where we are at the moment is these are our this is one of our pilot batch that we did just to test all the final spec parts and get some field testing and stuff done. So this is one of those. It's working great, other than missing its charging handles here, which we didn't install just because we didn't install them for the video. But we are, if everything continues on schedule, these will be in production, meaning we're working on building them by sometime around the end of the year, and probably most customers will start seeing them show up sometime around the beginning of next year. Theoretically possible. It could be some people could get them a little earlier than that, maybe the very end of this year. But for the most part, plan on it being an early next year thing unless you hear something else from us. In the meantime, we will keep you guys updated if there are any delays on that schedule or anything. But right now, that is what we have. So we did at the tech class this past or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, give the attendees an opportunity to shoot these. They had a great time with them. Went through a ton of BBs. They all shot each other and had a great time with that. Got some really good feedback in terms of its performance. The other thing we do have now is actual samples of the production mags here. This is only a production sample. It's not actually from the production batch, but check that thing out. Is that not beautiful? It's lovely. So there she is, looking beautiful. They are progressing, I promise. Really, really looking forward to these. One says, why are the Gen-12 mags so small? I mean, it's a fair question. Will they be offered with M-Lock? For the initial launch, we are doing the movie version. We've gotten a bunch of questions on that. Why'd you do Keymod? This is the licensed Terran Tactical movie version from the John Wick 4 movie. Okay, so this is not, and they use Keymod, so it's not really up to us. Will we do a version at some point in the future that has M-Lock? It's very possible, but right now for launch, this is the version we're doing. It is the movie replica version. So there she is. I don't know. We did it. We've done it. One of the big things with this has been getting the balance right in terms of making sure it's something that is very game effective, but is still fun and not overpowered. And I was really, really encouraged by the feedback from the techs at the class that they all had a great time with it. They all volunteered to go get shot by it and shot each other a whole bunch. And everybody seemed to think it was very much where it should be in terms of being plenty effective, but not excessively painful or anything to get hit with. They all volunteered to go out there. Some of them shot each other on full auto with it, lit each other up real good, had a good time, and everybody was laughing and having fun with it. So I'm very optimistic that we kind of hit the nail on the head there in terms of exactly how powerful, if you will, we made the overall system. So it's so yes, Genesis Arms does have a reason why they use Keymod over M-Lock. Can we see some Gen-12 firing test footage? Not yet. It will be coming. I don't want to say soon because you guys interpret soon differently than I do. It is coming. We do have a schedule we're working on for starting to push out some content. But we're not quite ready to do that just yet. It's not a burst engine. It is a shotgun. I think that people's concerns in that regard will be mostly allayed once they actually see it shoot. When I explain the mechanics of how it shoots, you might say, well, that sounds kind of like a burst. But when you see it shooting, it shoots exactly like you would expect a shotgun to, in terms of it's just a big cloud of BBs that are spreading out and, hitting everything down that direction. Yeah, so Jason was there. He said, yeah, it was awesome. Being full autoed wasn't that bad at all. I think the most accurate comment we got is it's nowhere near as bad as getting lit up by a saw on full auto. That's shooting a lot harder per BB. you know, it's very well within the range of normal. It feels different because you get hit a whole bunch of places all at once sometimes. It's definitely not a beam of BBs. There's a fair amount of spread to it. Again, we tried to hit the right sort of envelope with that. If you want it to be a shotgun, it should spread. If it's just a beam of BBs, what's the point? Like you need some area effect. But you also want it to hold together enough that you have some range. So I think we hit the right balance on that. But you know, we'll see. We got to get it in players' hands and get the feedback. So yeah. Any other questions before I wrap this up? I know there's a lot more things I haven't said yet. We did, Mike, I did just talk about the release date for the Gen-12. Expect to actually see it showing up, because one of the things we've had confusion about in the past when we've talked about release dates is it's different when we release something in the sense that we start receiving orders and shipping it, and when and customers perceive it as being released because they actually start seeing it show up, you know, in their hands. So in terms of customers seeing it show up in their hands, expect it to be the beginning of next year. Maybe some people will get them by the very end of this year, but I expect it to be beginning of next year, before you really start seeing them show up in person and getting to do that. So, but yes, that's the general timeline. We are actively working on it. It's a big project. There's a lot of different moving parts, working with EVIC on all the licensing. EVIC has some test units right now they're testing out. So yeah, it's been good. I'm really excited about it. Huge challenge, very different than some other products we've done, and I can't wait to get it out there. I really do think I really do think it will add a new dimension of gameplay, which was sort of why I thought this would be so fun. Is if you actually have something with that functions like a shotgun in gameplay, where it's super effective in that sort of mid-range distance, and has some scatter effect to it. I think that's going to add a whole different dimension of gameplay, and especially once you synthesize it with having some support from riflemen and support gunners and all that. I think it'll be really good. Juan says everyone is really wondering if we'll see more Hawaiian shirts during Live from the Den. I don't know. I mean, I got a pretty mediocre response on it. I tried to do something fun, and like we're about to shut down here, and that's the first comment I got on the Hawaiian shirts. So I don't know. You got to tell me. Do you like the Hawaiian shirts? We can make them work. The FRAC does not work with the drop stock. No, those two can't be. You use one or the other. Is it a standard MTW hop unit? It absolutely is not. That's as much as I'm going to tell you. But no, it definitely isn't a standard MTW hop unit. So, all right. I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for the interaction. I think we're going to about wrap it up today. It's been fun. We will try to do this sooner than 4 months again. I really do apologize. It's we have been, I have been, we all have, but I'll speak for myself for the moment, and I've been exceptionally busy the past few months, and we've done a lot of travel and a lot of just other work that needed to get done, and so have not managed to get on here in a while, but it was good to get back on here with you all. Thanks for joining, and we will see you guys next time.